Welcome back. This is the decider right now between Northwood University and St. Clair College here at the Drury Esports Invitational. My name's Dan Banner, of course. Been with you here for majority of the weekend for this crazy League of Legends tournament. Been definitely a blast, not going the way I would have expected. Across the bracket, apparently seeds mean absolutely nothing for some of these other matches. Of course, the team that took us out, or not took us out, but who was our only loss in group stage, Shawnee State, they lost to whoever the fourth seed was in our bracket. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It would have been Marian University. So it's been that kind of tournament where upsets are happening all over the place. And Northwood might be trying to make that happen onto us as well. In the group stage, we were able to defeat Northwood rather convincingly, I would say. It was probably one of the harder matches of the day, but it was still pretty favored to St. Clair. But this last game, it was a bit interesting. As the first game, Ben Sapp had Echo once again, or had his first game on Echo, was able to get himself snowballing, but not far enough. And then after a bad team fight, St. Clair were able to take care of that first game, no problem. However, second game, the same thing happened again, except Ben Sapp did not let it run away from him this time. Within a ridiculous double-digit kill and assist scoreline by the end of that match, and was able to help everybody else get into position as well to carry. It basically set the story for our Game 3 here today. Before we actually do hop into the Game 3, though, one substitute notification as the mid lane has switched again. Ghost Electricity is no longer playing. It's going to be ET again. ET was in for the first game, was on the Ari that did not exactly have the most effectiveness, but they opted to switch him in anyway. I don't see Ghost Electricity in the lobby at all. So with Northwood switch, we'll get to see if St. Clair can possibly look to capitalize on it as we get ready for the draft. The players are just about underway. And sure enough, they are in fact doing so. So, was there any echo ban? There was no echo ban to start things off. This I find kind of surprising, but we'll have to see. St. Clair on the red side and Northwood on the blue. We're going to see Lazzy pick up Caitlyn this time. A little bit of early harassment during the lane phase and just farm for days. Interesting that Northwood University take away the Cassidon from Mule, when in all reality, it made somewhat of an impact, but not as much as I think that Northwood is respecting. They take away the Gator once again. I'm sure Chelsea will be happy about that one. No Gators in this game. And then Nidalee off the board for Trick once again. No Ashe for Tilsap the play this time as well. They do pick up Set right away, so of course not exactly revealing their hand. You can put him pretty well anywhere and he'll be just fine. Zaya coming in for the AD carry position, however. Do we see the Rakan pick to follow it up? I think this is what they tried yesterday. Oh, it's looking for the Thresh. So Hiru, I mean, he's been doing fantastic all day. Even in the game that they lost, he was right on the money with some of these plays. One more pick for St. Clair. Once again, looking towards the Graves. I feel like the longer this days go on, the less impact it's been having. But maybe that last game was just an off one. We'll see if Trick can bring the momentum back for game number 3. Okay, sure enough, they waited a little while, but they are going to ban out the Echo. So this means Ben Sapp's going to have to pick something different. Ornn taken off the board for both top laners. Of course, top lane could be Set or it could be something completely different, leaving a massive question mark in the mind of the St. Clair team as to who they're exactly going up against. Mordekaiser taking off the top as well. I wonder if Northwood will try to ban another top laner. It looks like that's not going to be the case. They're going to take the Orianna off the board, considering St. Clair would have been able to first pick it. And if that set was going towards the mid lane, Ori would definitely be a champion that could harass him down. Gonna force St. Clair to pick something different. Who do they reveal first? Their top or their mid? I'm going to assume their top first. Shen's on the board again, so sure enough they are highlighting it, so it may in fact be the Shen pick. Personally, I just don't exactly like it. I don't think it's a character or a champion that provides Frez with the kind of playstyle that he does like. He had a couple close calls with Stan Uniteds, but there's a few times where he would pop the shield on somebody and then they would just die anyway, whether that was because the shield was too slow or if there just straight up was a bad engage and there was too much damage. Could have been either or in that situation. This might be a first. No, never mind. This is still going to be a first, however, as we now have Lilia picked in the jungle, so it's not going to be set jungle. Of course, a champion that St. Clair is very familiar with. I mean, Trick used to play a lot of Lilia earlier in the season. Even earlier in the tournament, played a bit. Lucian being hovered for possibly mid lane. Looks like that's going to get locked in. And with Syndra left open, is it finally going to be Yule's chance to explode? This might be the game. Locked in. These are, of course, your champions for this game. We'll get the confirmation as to where all those champions are going momentarily. Well, this took a twist now, didn't it? This is exactly why I look at the champion select twice. Yes, the pro draft can tell us what gets picked, but where is it being played is the question. I know personally, I got baited, and maybe so did St. Clair. We'll have to see, because Bendy is actually the one picking up the Lucian for top lane, and the set is going to be played by ET in the mid lane. That'll be interesting. I'm sure set is a little bit tankier, but is melee. In theory, Syndra or Yule on Syndra should be able to just poke him out for days. But maybe he just has enough tank to withstand it. Meanwhile, it's going to be Frez having the hard time in the top lane. Of course, no longer having the range advantage in the Shen vs. Set matchup, but instead now has to deal with Lucian basically peppering him constantly. Anytime he goes for a minion, he's going to get shot. But that being said, with a little jungle help, that top lane can very quickly get flipped upon. And then I'm trying to think, I don't think Yule's Syndra will be able to, like, 100-0 a set. You would definitely be able to if it was Lucian, Xayah, or something like that. Basically everybody else except maybe the Thresh he can do that to. I think Set is just beefy enough to take that. And I'm curious, now that Ben Sapp had hit his Echo banned away, is his Liliac going to step up to the same level that his Echo did? Because he was definitely a pillar on this Northwood University squad. Meanwhile, on the side of St. Clair, Lazzy's picking up the Caitlyn, so something that can still be somewhat aggressive, especially early on. However, that is still like a little bit more of a safer pick. And with Mansfo still on Leona, I assume that roaming is still going to be on the schedule for him. And he'll be diving in to try and probably get Yule ahead more than anything. I mean, otherwise the combo for the bot lane is like, what, Leona locks him up, you put a Caitlyn trap underneath, and then you just start peppering him with auto attacks. Unless you get the Peacemaker off, which, yes, that'll do some decent damage, especially early, but it's probably not as fluent of a combo compared to some of the other combinations they've been playing in that bot lane. I know, like, they tried the Ezreal, they tried, what was that last game? I hate when that happens. But yeah, I forgot what happened or not forgot what happened, but I forgot which champion he was playing in the last game, but the combinations were there, but they may not have been able to pull as ahead as they would want. So having something that can at least guarantee them some farming isn't necessarily a bad thing. I just worry that Frez is going to get picked on, to be completely honest, because Lucian, Obel, you can't really taunt the guy who can just dash away from you unless you burn your flash, and then, unfortunately, knowing Frez's luck so far in this tournament, the moment he goes all the way in is right when the jungler's there. And either that or it was a 1v1 that did not go in his favor. Definitely trying to make some plays, but has put himself in some pretty awkward scenarios overall in this matchup. But of course, one more time, big thank you to the sponsors, of course, that make Saints Gaming possible. The St. Clair College Alumni Association, St. Clair College itself, St. Clair College's Student Representative Council, Zuckerman School of Business and IT, PC Outlet, and Tim Hortons. Thank you all for making this possible, and thank you once again to the fans, of course, that are supporting your loved ones, friends, family, the program itself, or even if it's your classmate. It's awesome that you're supporting them in their esports endeavors. Almost just around the corner for this decider. And of course, no matter what happens here, Saints still get to move on. But the idea is, do they move on to the grand finals, or do they move on to the third place match? No matter what, the next match in this tournament is going to be on the Drury Esports Twitch channel. So make sure to go give them a quick follow as well before this one gets underway, just so you know, or just so you have it locked, you can watch them a little bit later on. Because, of course, we're going to have a small break after this one, and then we've got some TESPA Call of Duty action happening shortly after. Oh, it's been quite a busy and exciting weekend, but it has been awesome overall. So, of course, thank you to everybody. Again, I know I've said it, I just said it, but literally, thank you for tuning in. I know it's exhausting, but if I've entertained you even the slightest bit this weekend, you've made my day, and I thank you for it. Loading into the game now, however, sappy stuff aside, it's going to be St. Clair College in the red. It's going to be Northwood in the blue. St. Clair, so far, I don't think they've lost yet on the red side. It's going to be up to Northwood. A thorn in our side in pretty much every esports title here in the varsity, or in varsity esports. We'll have to see if they manage to shut us down here in League of Legends as well. They have taken them out yesterday during groups, but they still made it out, and this is the one that matters. Game 3 underway.
Seconds until minions spawn.
Just a simple line of scrimmage to start things off in the river. Nobody going to be opting for any level 1 stuff. We did see Northwood try something in the last game, however, they weren't able to find
Minions have
anybody.
spawned.
So overall, very, very quiet starts to this entire series. No team wanting to get something snowballing right off the bat before the lanes even begin. Don't blame them, that's definitely a very volatile way to play. And expect to see a lot of that. That exactly right there is what Yule will have to do to try and stop this lane. Of course, the set in melee range all the time, wide open for some harassment, whether it be by the bubbles that we see there, or just auto attacks in general. Let's try and keep them away, but at the same time, the range on Set's abilities are something that Yule's going to have to be careful of, especially with Yule being much squishier than ET's Set. This will be something I'm going to be constantly keeping my eye on. Both junglers started on their red side and are now just continuing to work on their minions. We may see Ben Snap look to maybe try and snowball this bot lane, or maybe just keep on farming. We do see him making an appearance. It is going to go over a ward as soon as he steps out. Sure enough, St. Clair are going to ping it out. Lassie and Mansfo going to keep it safe after seeing him there. So, Ben Snap goes back to farming. And of course, that's kind of what I was expecting to see up here in this top lane. Anytime Frez tries to make his way towards a minion, in theory, he can get blasted. Granted, Bendy doesn't do that much damage on Lucian, not just yet anyway. As we see the gank attempt happening here in the mid lane, Yule not going to have to burn anything. Just going to walk aside and continue moving on with this farm. Okay, that's going to be an opportunity now for ET to get in and do some damage. And sure enough, going to win that trade overall. So actually, this lane may be not as difficult for Set as I was expecting, or ET is just playing this absolutely correctly. Abusing the fact that he has so much health regeneration to make up for the fact that he's melee. Ben Snap going up to the top side. Never mind, not quite going for the gank just yet. Trick down the bot side. Maybe get the crab to get set up for the dragon later on. Because that was definitely another thing as well in game number 2. St. Clair did not get a dragon up until the Elder Dragon, and the souls were already taken by the side of Northwood. Trick coming on in. Here comes the stun, and it's actually Trick going to be able to do a bunch of damage. No flash available. That's a huge shield actually coming out from ET to make sure that he can stay alive. He may be forced to back here, but he doesn't have to burn a flash, doesn't burn a ghost. He can just keep on going. Meanwhile, Trick getting jumped on a little bit. Ben Sap and him just blasting each other back and forth. Now as levels start getting bigger and bigger, Frez is going to have a bit more of a hard time dealing with Bendy. Frez is a level up on him as of this moment, so doing a good job there staying in XP range, but of course you're just going to constantly get poked every time you go for a minion. Okay, his Trick makes a return trip here. He's going to go point blank with them. The shield is down, but there's not enough time. Actually, it is going to be just enough as Yule going to find first blood on to ET. That being said, the bot lane trying to get aggressive here from Northwood. Flashes in, gives him the flay, but the hook does not follow up. Lassie going to just be able to sidestep that. Try to get greedy, well, or not try to get greedy, try to get aggressive while Miensfo was out of his lane. But are going to miss their play. Granted, at the same time, Lassie had the flash, so I guess you burn that flash for flash. And arguably, I guess the flash on the AD carry is probably a little bit more worth it. Taunt lands. Frez is actually able to get aggressive here onto Bendy. Doing some decent damage, chunking him down to half. And Bendy's down to like next to no mana as well. And he definitely relies on mana to get aggressive. So might have quieted him down for the time being. We do see Bensap coming back in towards this mid lane, as Trick is actually up top with Frez. But the stun comes out here. Yul is not level 6 just yet, just around the corner, however. Nothing ended up happening up in that top lane. Bendy was able to get out of dodge just fine. Of course, Lucian does have a dash built into his kit, so it's going to be a-okay there. Now Yul is level 6 if ET is not careful, or if Bensap tries to get over aggressive. Can easily get blown up now that Yul is rocking a full firepower. Trick and Miansfo both here ready to go, going to burst the ghost from ET. Just take the ghost and run away like nothing's happened. But now the bot lane, what are they thinking here? Hiru inside the pit. Looking to maybe make a flank. Tilsap making his way up. They don't realize it. They do see Tilsap, and they also now do see Bensap. So, St. Clair evacuate the area, but are going to be just fine in this case. Dragon going to be left unattended for a little while as Miansfo goes back to get some additional armor. I guess that's one thing as well. Lucian is AD as well. Set is AD for the most part. And we're actually going to see possibly a turnaround here. Yul thinking about making his way in with some burst damage. Takes a softer hit, and he's just able to outpoke him. Even though there's two members of Northwood University right here in front of St. Clair, or in front of Yul, rather, they can't really do anything about it. Dash misses its mark there from Frez. He does have quite a decent amount of armor and health regeneration at this point, so I guess that's one way to try and counteract the harassment from Bendy. But you can see CS-wise, he's definitely starting to struggle ever so slightly in this lane. Constantly being chipped out. He's going to keep trying to fight up there, but that could get scary for him if he's not careful. And now it's going to be Bensap charging in off of the Lantern of Hiru. Going to flay Lassie. Lassie does not have flash available, but they're staying healthy as of this moment. Miansfo actually just takes a bunch of damage and is going to be going down, but that kill is going to go over to Hiru. Dragon now being picked up, especially since Trick is up here on the top side trying to get Bendy taken out. Has collateral damage available, not going to be enough to finish him off, which means they're going to get nothing while the Northwood University squad push over to Dragon and are going to secure that. And there's not even any Hail Mary options that St. Clair could fire at this to try and steal. So the first Dragon going over, burst them down, and nicely done there from Yul. So in the end, he is going to be able to at least trade a kill for that Dragon. Granted, that was by his own solo merits, but it's a team game at the end of the day. Trick inside the Northwood jungle, just stealing as much as possible. May find Bensap if he's not too careful. Gonna jump onto Bendy. This could be a 2v2, make it a 3v3. I think that's Yul coming up. Frez tries to hit the taunt, not going to happen. This battle might have to evacuate unless they try a different 2v2, this time with Yul alongside Trick. The Bendy's gonna take the long way around with the escort from Snap and ET. And that play is going to get shut down, but it allows Trick to start looking at the Herald. He should be able to solo it, it just might take a little while. And there's no vision on him, so he should be able to take this. Now this level difference here in the mid lane is starting to get disgusting. ET currently sitting at level 7, while Yul is at level 9. That definitely hurts, and you can see the CS difference. This is exactly what St. Clair wanted to do. It's going to be the hook onto Miansfo, but it's only going to be a little bit of damage done to him. Pops his shield to reduce some of that damage done, and pops some additional rejuvenation items. Going to be just fine. Both of the St. Clair bot laners have their flash available this time. However, Miansfo getting picked off. The Lassie going to try and return fire here onto Data carry. That being said, though, here comes Frez. Lassie going to finish off Hiru. Nicely done there. Good timing this time from Frez. Yule looking to get aggressive, but he's eating so many turret shots for breakfast. That's not even funny. Like 3/4 of his health gone. It's actually going to allow ET to try and charge in. Busts out the flash, busts out the ghost, and it's still not enough. Yule hoping he wants to try and get aggressive as Trick is nearby as well. And tower plating going down for St. Clair. That is going to be the Rift Herald come into play here for St. Clair. Ben Snap trying to get the flank on to Yule, but it's going to be blocked. We're going to have ourselves a Sleepy Graves, however. Can they go 1-for-1? Or actually, the flash from Trick is going to be just enough to get him out of dodge. So Shelly is probably just going to do a little bit of damage to that mid turret, take it down to about 1/4 HP before it does get killed off. And we have the attempted 1v1 here, of course. Tilsap has a lot more burst damage. Lassie a little bit better as the fight goes on, but that stun might have been right on the money. Tilsap gets rooted right at the right time. The bullet bends it like wanted and takes care of it. Nice shot for Lassie. Call that one the curveball. Even the shield from the lantern was not enough to stop that one. Tilsap goes down. And we already have an infinity edge here for Lassie. That if that was a crit, that was definitely the exact moment we would have wanted a crit to happen. So it felt like Tilsap still had about 1/4 HP left, and then all of a sudden Tilsap just died. Meanwhile, Bendy getting harassed. How the tables have turned here in this lane. Shen just able to jump onto him like it's nobody's business. This could be deadly here for ET if he's not careful. The slow coming out. Gonna chase him all the way down to his turret and take him down to about halfway. But he is going to be A-okay. The ult was not used by Yule in that case. Might come out again in a little bit. But that's the thing about this matchup. Bendy, if he plays it perfectly, can match dash for dash here with Frez's Shen and keep himself out of taunt range. That mid turret right around the corner from being done. Hiru gonna tank that ace in the hole. Dragon right around the corner as well, so St. Clair looking to possibly get set up for it. Ben Snap is down here knowing that that very well might be the case. Frey is gonna be a real pain to Bendy right now. He just wants to go back and get some items. I'm sure he's sitting on a decent amount of gold just from farming, but really struggling right now. As a red turret, that's gonna be the mid turret, going down. The Ocean Drake is here. It is going to be started. Trick getting it down halfway right now. Ben Snap right there. It's going to be a 4v3, it looks like. I'm not sure if Northwood can contest this. They're not going to. Trick going to secure that one. They don't have to call upon Frez. Bendy didn't have his teleport in that case either, so he would not have been able to make that an even fight as soon as Frez would have stand united and ulted all the way down into that fight. Mid lane is still hurting though. Level 11 compared to level 9. Yule really punishing that lane very, very badly. 124 CS compared to 75. 2 kills on the side of Yule. Wow. ET only has deaths in this case. I wonder what the situation was for Northwood to switch out Ghost Electricity and let ET come in here again, who was okay during game number 1 by all means, but I feel like a lot of value was from Ghost Electricity in that last game. Wonder if like scheduling conflicts or something happened, because it just seems very odd to sub out the player who is arguably playing better in that situation. Lots of damage coming out here. This might not be a fight that North would want to take right now, and they're actually going to go right into it. Can they get the shot? Nope, the stopwatch going to make things difficult. Stunned up, not going to actually be in time. The ace in a hole going to be taken by Hiru, but he is going to survive. There is no reinforcements right now for Northwood to try and clean up Mian's foe. That being said, Ben Sap is coming in hot here. They do see him, so going to try and run away, dodge the ball, but okay. The trap going to get put between him and Ben Snap, so it's going to keep them safe for now. Bendy might have found Trick at the worst possible time. They are on pursuit, trying to chase him down, but of course Bendy has a lot of dashes, decent mobility overall for an AD carry, so he's going to be hard to catch. Going to secure the crab while they can, so that Rift Herald is constantly under vision. Let's see if St. Clair could find another one. They're trying to make something happen here onto Yule, but a good flash for Flash. Yule going to keep himself alive and keep himself in the lead of this lane. He's been able to basically deflect every single gank attempt on his lane so far, and that's definitely critical. Back and forth continues up top. The only objective in play right now will be the Rift Herald. We do see Lazzy making a move towards it. Goodbye. Actually, nicely done there from Tilsap. Of course, you pop the Xayah ultimate, you do become invulnerable for a little while. And that's going to make it so the entirety of Yule's ultimate is wasted. Almost got to treat that like a fighting game. Hope to bait an option and then punish it. Wait for the ult to come out, and then you make it seem like you're gonna ult, bait it out, and then fire it after the fact. A little bit of a fake of some sort. Top lane pushing in. We do have Lazzy and Mensfo coming on the way to the top lane. That bot turret is not long for this world. ET is now left between a rock and a hard place. Mensfo looking to try and get the sap. However, two huge sleeps coming out on the side of Northwood as Ben Sap was able to secure that one. Trick is still getting aggressive, however. Lazzy's still in a really rough spot. He's not going to be able to make it out of this one. Shutdown golds going over to Tilsap. So that ties up the game on kills. Granted, St. Clair have themselves a little bit of additional gold due to the amount of towers and plays they've been able to take down. But they're getting themselves a little bit out of position. Some of these options they're doing are a little bit awkward, to say the least. We've seen it time and time again here. Hopefully for the side of St. Clair, they can keep themselves out of these over-aggressive options and bring this thing home. Oh, there's a lot of people here in the chat looking to see if they can get on to the finals. So I'll be completely frank with you. Most of the time with our League of Legends team, it's been one of the teams that's probably taken the longest to kind of kick up and start rocking, so to speak. They've had some decent seasons, sure, by all means, but to get into the finals of something, to be completely frank, has not been something that we've seen in the past from them. So this new squad coming out, so far so good here for St. Clair. I definitely don't want to see them choke it, but I also want to see Northwood give us the biggest run for their money possible. And this might have been an over-exaggeration here for Lazzy. I have no idea what they're trying to pull off there. Showstopper onto Lazzy. He's going to actually force the stand united. If you're trying to get to the dragon, that's one way to do it. Lazzy between a rock and a hard place. They're trying to take out Snap right away, and they're going to be successful in doing so. Trick is going to get completely blown up if Tilsap can finish him off. He's in the hole, going to go right into Hiru. St. Clair taking the positive end of that one, securing one kill. But Tilsap's going to eat the turret, going to just pass the gold over to Mensfo. But the trap from Caitlyn is going to stop that. And oh my god, what a crit. So Lassy's going to take care of that one. One shot, one kill. And this could be Dragon now for St. Clair get their second one in this game. Lucian does not have the calling, so if he were to steal that, he would have to jump over the wall to get it. Not going to be the case. Frez is actually going to be the one who cleans that up. And now they can start looking towards the Rift Herald. Lazzy on hot pursuit, but he has both Bendy and ET on his rear. Bendy going to finish that one off. Again, just a bit of an overextension just by trying to farm. And Lazzy's going to go down here, giving away his second death of the game. Scuttle Crab is controlled by St. Clair as of this moment, so that Rift Herald will not be getting taken under their noses. That being said, Trick and Miansfo were both right there next to Ben Sap, but they're going to try not to go forward, considering there was reinforcements ready and waiting in the mid lane. Pings around the Herald, around that top lane, may be next on deck here for St. Clair. They do realize there are a ton of wards nearby, so they're going to take a moment to clear out the vision around this area. Maybe set up for the Rift Herald. Frez is still down bot, does have a teleport, and he will have his ultimate around the corner very shortly. For Stand United, a very, very long cooldown compared to majority of ultimates, considering the amount of distance it takes. And a nice ultimate once again from Tilsap, not only dodging the ace in the hole, but the collateral damage coming out from Trick. So with St. Clair kind of showing their hands, a lot more Northwood members are hovering around this Rift Herald, around this top lane. Due to the ward being there, St. Clair does know that they are around that area. Lassie still farming up in the mid lane, making his way towards the Herald that very well could break down into a team fight. They're definitely taking their time with it. They both want the Herald. They want to be able to just absolutely demolish a turret with Shelly if they get the opportunity to. But it looks like they're actually just going to back off. Lassie and Trick both getting out of dodge. And Yule, Mansfo going to both stick around for this moment. See if they can find something. I mean, with Tilsap already blowing the ulti on the last couple of ults, very well could get 100 to 0'd by Yule. But it has to kind of be lined up properly, and I don't think they're going to give St. Clair that opportunity. They're just going to go back right now. Yule's going to be able to free farm for himself. Bot lane turret for St. Clair starting to get kind of low. I'm sure we'll see. I think that's Bendy. Get ready to start taking that, but of course Frez is going to be there to farm off it as well. Everything else from St. Clair looking mighty healthy right now. Add another one as Yule does take down that top turret, opening that side of the jungle up, and now possibly opening the opportunity here for St. Clair to start looking towards that Rift Herald. Still, or not Rift Herald, it's a Baron at this point. I'm absolutely losing my mind here. It's past 20 minutes, Standards. Get with the program. God, this guy's commentating? Oh my god. Anyway, Mansfield gets hooked, but they're not going to try and engage off of that, because you're just going to jump in and get stunned. Dragon right around the corner. St. Clair looking to secure their third and push Northwood with the pressure of a soul point. Yule does have that blue buff, so he's going to be firing off bubbles like it's nobody's business. Stand United, ready for Frez if he wants to hop from that top lane onto a teammate, giving them a gigantic shield in the process, of course. And of course, ET, he doesn't have a teleport, so St. Clair could abuse the fact that he's all the way down there, maybe give up that turret for the rest of the objectives. But everybody else here is going to get underway. Trick getting blasted upon. The Stand United is going to be on the Trick. Is it enough for Shen to get in the play? Just enough. Hiru's going to be able to take him down, but it's going to be traded out as Bendy gets absolutely exploded by Yule. Lassie getting extremely aggressive, flashing into the entire team. Very rarely do I see that pay off, but as of right now, it is definitely doing so. ET nearly low. Tilsap hanging on by a thread. Same thing with Miansfo, who's going to eventually go down. Ace in the hole. There's nobody to stop this one. Going to get picked off. Lassie on hot pursuit. Can he find the shot onto Ben Sap? Not quite enough. He's been slept, actually. But a good thing Ben Sap didn't try to take that. He would have walked right into Yule. So Ben Sap going to try and push this mid lane as St. Clair go for the dragon. Frez is already there starting it. They won't have the smite, but at the same time, they're zoning away Sap, so it should be safe. Yule's just going to be there for hot pursuit anyway, just to make sure that no funny business happens. And Lazzie's going to clean that one up. Lazzie 6-2-0 currently in this game. And then everybody else is just loaded with assists, so it seems. 4 on both Frez and Trick. And the same thing for Yule, but at the same time, Yule is 3-0-4. Just been all over the place, making himself as valuable as possible. Then on the Northwood side, 3 assists and 1 kill for Bendy. 3 assists and 1 kill for Ben Sap. 2 assists for ET. 3 kills and 2 assists, of course, then for Tilsap, who has often been getting picked out, but at the same time is dealing the most damage in these fights, I do believe, here for Northwood. Ace in a hole, going to do a little bit of poke damage to Hiru. Was probably intended for Tilsap, but would have been able to probably dodge it anyway. A little extra poke damage never hurts, however, except for the person getting poked. I honestly think if this game keeps going the way it does, St. Clair is going to take it, and it very well may be that mid lane difference that I was explaining earlier. Like, right now, they took a set into a Syndra, and it's still boggling my mind as Miansfo gets hooked, but of course, you don't want to dive in onto Miansfo. Gonna look to possibly turn this one around. Trick does find Bendy, gonna just scare him away for the moment. Like, look at this difference here between the mid laners. Yule sitting at 3-0-4. Then ET 0-3-2. Hold the thought. Ben Snap gets himself caught up. But at the same time, it may have been... Okay, never mind. I was looking at that backwards. As Ben Snap gets completely blown up to smithereens. Baron now on the table, considering the smite is gone on the side of Northwood. And nobody is in position to really defend. I guess... Bendy is going to be forced to teleport into this fight. ET on his way here. Same time, there is Hiru. Showstopper right onto the Baron. ET's not quite focused down. He's got a gigantic shield. Who is going to get this Baron? That is the question, but Trick is the one with the smite. He's going to secure that one. So far, 2 for nothing and a Baron. St. Clair pulling it off, acing Northwood University at the Baron site. Extended fight, extended ace. They can do some serious damage right now. The only one up is Ben Sap, who is just going to have to solo hold versus 5. I don't think so. This one is going to hurt. Baroned up minions as well. Going to be plowing right through this mid turret. They might be able to go all the way to the inhibitor before anybody even respawns. Bendy still has 20 seconds left as well. This turret's going to get slaughtered. They're going to probably inhibitor and out. I mean, last time I said that, they definitely proved me wrong and just went for the win. But no, in fact, they are going to all greedily go for an interesting back pattern here, leaving Yule, who's going to be stuck trying to run for the hills manually. Although there's enough poke damage to maybe make Ben Sap think twice, especially since Yule's ultimate is right there on deck. Almost 9,000 in the lead right now for St. Clair in regards to gold. So far, so good for them. One dragon away from getting the soul. The dragon is just about to spawn. All the games that we've seen so far here for St. Clair, if they got the soul, they won, and okay, goodbye Bendy. Okay, this is going to be a 5v4 fight for this dragon. St. Clair really making this look good for them so far. Clearing out vision, putting himself a player ahead before a critical team fight. Let's hope they can find something additional, possibly. They're on top of Hiru, who's going to just blast himself away. Maybe looking at that bot lane turret before this dragon does appear. Of course, the long range of Lassie's Caitlyn is fantastic at sieging these turrets. Anybody who's trying to defend is just going to get poked away and can oftentimes just shoot the turret for free and allow his teammates to take the turret down for free. Inhibitor number 2 is about to be taken down and completely uncontested. Takes the inhibitor after the turret, and actually Friz is pushing up top too, so there are so many objectives right now going in the favor of St. Clair. And okay, how about securing a dragon by just completely deleting the jungler on the other side? I would assume now is the time that they do so. Friz is still up top. The rest of St. Clair are trying to figure out what exactly they want to do at this moment. Trick trying to get it done. Can Friz actually secure this turret? I don't think it's necessarily worth it, but at the same time he does manage to do so. Goes in, taunts right onto Hiru, goes onto the support, and actually Yule's able to secure the kill on the Tilsap. The big damage is gone. 3 members down, 4 members down. It's all up to Bendy, who of course was taken down so early. St. Clair have just aced them again. And just like that, yeah, Tilsap's out of here. St. Clair College are moving to the finals of the Drury Esports Invitational. Nobody left to defend. It's over. I can't believe it. Saints are in the finals. Holy moly, what a game that was. Just, that was the exact thing they needed to do. From the very moments like Champion Select started, I'm actually surprised that they kind of let Echo go by as long as they did. But that 4th ban was the Echo, and it was all on to Ben Snap to try and be as valuable as he was on Echo on Lilia. And you can tell that just wasn't the case in the slightest. Was nowhere near as comfortable on that champion. And everybody on St. Clair, with a little bit of extra relief knowing that Echo wasn't in their face, they were able to just absolutely stomp their lanes. It was wonderful to see. Friz was on, may have been down in regards to CS because of Bendy being much more ranged, but zero kills, okay. 1 death and 13 assists was all over the place. Trick was actually able to get involved, get more objectives, was able to help his lanes when necessary. Miansfo also able to help some additional lanes, was with Lassie for the most part, but because of that, Lassie was able to get 8 eliminations in this game, 2 deaths and 3 assists, and then Yule, flawless game from him, 9 eliminations, 0 deaths, 7 assists. Everybody had to take accounted for that ultimate. And I'm actually at a loss for words as well as to why Ghost Electricity was subbed out. I don't understand why they put the set up against Syndra with a player who was arguably worst performing in the 2 games. Like game 1 was ET, he did okay on Ari, but wasn't that much of an impact. Game 2, you had Ghost Electricity on Orianna, who was doing a boatload of damage. I have no idea why he was subbed out, to be completely frank with you, but nonetheless, they put ET back in. St. Clair capitalized. They took care of Ben Sap. They took care of ET's set, and they just let everybody go wild. And with that, St. Clair is going to move on to the finals of the Drury Esports Invitational. That matchup, of course, it's not going to be here. I know we streamed from the beginning, from pools all the way up to this point, but I know personally my voice is absolutely slaughtered after a fantastic weekend of League of Legends. Trust me, I'm not complaining. But the Drury Esports guys, Drury Esports on Twitch, is going to have the finals matchup. We have to see who they play on Drury Esports' Twitch channel. They're going to do the next semifinal match right after this one. So we'll get to see who our opponent is then. And then here on the Saints Gaming CA channel, we do have TESPA Call of Duty happening very shortly. In fact, while I'm thinking about running it down here, not running it down mid, but running it down to the schedule, of course, like I was saying, Call of Duty later on today, but we do have Rocket League, CSGO, Overwatch, all coming up. Some UCA action Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8 p.m. And then more League of Legends action in the OPSC as our St. Clair Saints, of course, get to go up against the University of Windsor. First time those teams get to play in league action. going to be a good one. That's at 8 o'clock as well. You do not want to miss it. Be sure to follow the Saints Gaming CA channel here on Twitch, the social medias, as well as our gigantic VOD archive, the match archive we have on YouTube. You also get your first dibs at player interviews and additional shows like Bird's Eye View. So be sure to follow all of our social medias. And if you want to follow any of my own personal esports shenanigans, which most of the... Oh my god, you can tell I'm absolutely losing my mind here. The shenanigans... If you want to follow my stuff, be sure to Banner Broadcast on Twitter. That is where you will find me. Majority of the time it's Saints stuff, but with my extremely diverse interest in all sorts of esports, you might find something a little interesting there. And one more time, thank you to the sponsors. St. Clair College, Zuckelman School of Business and Technology, St. Clair College Alumni Association, St. Clair SRC, Tim Hortons, and PC Outlet. Thank you all for making this possible, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Whether you're here for Northwood, whether you're here for St. Clair, thank you for supporting your friends, family, classmates, your esports programs, just making this possible and allowing collegiate esports to essentially just keep on growing. So big thank you to you all, and we'll be tuning in later on tonight, as I do believe, like I was saying, Drury Esports has the match, but we have another semifinal to go, the third place game, and then we have the finals. So probably around 8 o'clock tonight on the Drury Esports channel. Come support our Saints in the finals. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic one. It is going to be up against either... Let's take a look at the other side of the semifinals. Illinois College or Marian University. So it will be an interesting one nonetheless. I can't stress it enough. Come watch, come support. And then during a break or something, come say hi during the TESPA Call of Duty match. But we'll close out for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to the stream. And I'll either see you later on tonight for some TESPA Call of Duty, or I'll see you in the Drury Esports chat. But for now, have a good night, everybody.